Welcome to Reform the LA Way. I'm Mónica García, Board President of the LAUSD, and on today's show, we'll be examining the work being done at the STEM Academy. The mission of the STEM Academy is to instill a love of scientific inquiry that empowers students. Joining me to discuss this topic are Principal Josephine Skibera, Medical Pathway Teacher Esther Debagian, and Engineering Pathway Teacher Williams Olmedo. Welcome. How fabulous, as we're asking voters to support a parcel tax in Los Angeles, to pay $298 a year to help us bring reform to our students and invest in more graduation, we can talk about STEM. Tell us, what is happening on your campus?
If voters want to see where their dollars are going, they need to come to STEM. STEM is probably the most exciting school I've ever been a part of in my entire career. We are focused on science, technology, engineering, and medicine. We have two career pathways. One is engineering, and one is medicine. The students come into 9th grade, and they choose what career pathway they'd like to follow. And through their high school career, they focus on these pathways. And it instills a love of, and a passion for these scientific, technological areas. And when they're ready to go to college, they're ready, they're excited. I've never seen anything like it.
That sounds fabulous.
It really is special.
And if we're going to learn about how you all got here and how you created this amazing opportunity, we have to look at teachers and teachers-led in LA. Ms. Debagian, why don't you tell us how you, a little bit of the history on this project?
Well, STEM opened as an SLC 4 years ago, part of Bernstein campus that's in Hollywood currently. And there were about 8 teachers that were part of a exploratory trip to Boston the summer before the school opened. And what we got to see were the pilot schools over there. And it made a really big impact on me when I saw how empowered the students felt in their own schools, where they knew their voice mattered and that they were taking a part in their school and could go to anyone in their school for that help and support that they needed. So when we returned, there were a lot of teachers who were moved and decided to begin to explore possibly taking STEM pilot also. After about 2 years, we had enough votes within our student population, teacher population, and parent population to begin writing a proposal. When we did that, we were approved and became a pilot school 2 years ago.
Wow, and Mr. Olmedo, how did you get involved in the effort?
I wasn't part of the original design team, but I'm coming from a former school, Lincoln High School, where we went SLCs, and I think we were one of the first cohorts. So I've been in the process of writing a proposal for SLCs. So when I transferred over to STEM, I started their first year as a pilot school. So my feet were already wet in terms of going through the process. And for me, it felt natural because I had gone through this with a different set of groups, and our SLC was social justice movement, but I have an engineering background. So when I found that there was a school that was focused in engineering, my passion, I was like, I need to get in there. I interviewed, and I'm lucky. I got the position teaching math and teaching engineering, 9th grade engineering.
And actually, it was really exciting to interview him because the students sat in on his interview, and I remember hearing from the students, you know, it's great, it's perfect. He was, you know, an engineering major, and he has a background in this. This is such an exciting thing. So that was sort of the evolution and becoming a pilot school. That was one of the really nice things, hearing that input from the students and them getting a say in hiring Will, actually.
That's
really
fabulous.
cool.
And did they know you were an LAUSD grad when you applied?
Actually, they did, because when I sat in the interview, my principal at Lincoln that hired me was present. She was Lupesani. So as soon as she came into the interview, she saw me, and then she mentioned to them, it's like, this guy, I started with her 13 years ago. And then I found out that Dr. Rosa Maria Hernandez, which is the director of our school, she was my principal at Bravo, because Bravo alumni. So, and then I found out that Esther
also Bravo alumni. Dr. Hernandez was also my principal.
So the connection and the students hearing us talking about where we graduated, and I see a bigger connection with us starting STEM, just like Bravo started back because they started at Lincoln, transferred to Wilson, and then they had their own place. And that school has grown since I went there, since Esther has graduated until now. So for me, my passion of working at STEM is to make it grow, like Bravo has grown.
So Bernstein is a new campus that opened maybe 4 years ago. And in that new campus, you had one plan, and then teachers continued to evolve from the SLC into a pilot, right? And talk about this evolution of thought and how teacher leadership has really helped create new opportunities for our kids.
Well, being a principal of this school was a very different experience because the teachers run the show. They almost need me to do the dirty work, but they are so passionate about what they do. They put in so many hours. They put in a lot of work. There's a certain type of teacher that is a good fit for STEM, not everybody. They tutor after school, they have office hours, the kids know they can go to them. They feel at home and they're empowered. And I support all of the student activities and the groups and things to the point where we all feel like we're a family. We work together, and that's why I think our kids are so successful. They really know that they're cared about and they feel like they're nurtured and we're all on the same page. You can walk up to any student and say, what would you like to do? Oh, I'm going to be a civil engineer, I'm going to be a veterinarian, I'm going to be a doctor. They feel they can do anything because of the fabulous teachers that we have that support everything they do.
Wow.
It's really...
And so you also are a linked learning school,
yes,
right?
Yes, we are.
And tell us about what that means for STEM.
Well, Esther can do a little bit better at that than I. She is our coordinator for our linked learning program.
Well, we've been a linked learning, well, we've been in the process of becoming linked learning certified for the past 3 years, more intensively past 2 years. So this year we are preparing for certification, and that means really cementing our student support services and making sure our technical curriculum is heavily tied to our academic curriculum and they work really well and mesh well together. And it's also meant really developing our work-based learning program, which has been very challenging, but at the same time very rewarding because we've finally, with the help of Paul DeBonis, who works with Dr. Hernandez for linked learning, with their help and our advisory board, we've started getting internships and all of these really great opportunities for our students to go job shadow or have people come to us and speak to them about the various careers that are an option to them, both in engineering and in medicine. So linked learning has really sort of cemented everything that we were trying to achieve as a pilot school. Our two visions really meshed very well together, and it's exciting to go through certification because they're going to use this rubric on us and tell us, well, you know, how well we've actually accomplished some of these things. And it'll be exciting to know where we're falling short, because I would certainly, as a teacher, I want to know how we can improve our different, you know, things that we're trying to do.
That's so fabulous. That's so fabulous. We'll be right back with more on the STEM Academy and the impact it's had on its students.
Read Across America is a national reading event in honor of Dr. Seuss's birthday, and it's just a great opportunity for adults, city officials, important popular public figures to come and encourage the youth of the city as to why reading is important to their lives.
Reading is just sort of the basis of all education, and it's such a, I'm here to encourage kids to read.
The community is coming together to speak to the children, tell them how important it is to read and read the book that you really like, and I think it's great. We're as excited as the children are excited to read to them or to hear what kind of books that inspires them.
And what we find here is truly a learning community of readers. We see that evident in the classrooms, and today is really a culmination of the events that occur throughout the year as students come together and hear from models within the community of how reading has impacted their lives.
Reading is the most important thing in my life for my career and everything like that, and it sparks my creativity, and I thought I want to come and let everybody know how special reading has made and how interesting it's made my life and how creative and excited and inspired it has made me. It starts now, you know, self-motivating yourself and reading and being creative and talking to your friends about books.
Welcome back to Reform the LA Way with my three guests from STEM Academy at Bernstein High School. We are learning about the challenges and accomplishments in empowering our students. So we heard you're a linked learning pilot school, evolution from an SLC at a new school. What does this really mean to kids?
Wow, you want to start?
From me, from my perspective, teaching the engineering students, they're able to see a connection. I'm teaching the 9th grade engineering students, which is the introduction to engineering. I'm making a lot of connections right now with art because I'm collaborating with the art teacher. I'm making connections with the 9th grade English teacher and also with the math. They're getting to see how this math that they're going to take, whether it's Algebra 1, Geometry, Algebra 2, is connecting to engineering. With the English, they're writing and they need to start putting design proposals together that it's going to culminate their 12th grade year. So I'm getting them ready for a 4-year process. And one of the things that I tell them that you're not a freshman, you're a first-year engineering student. So I'm trying to mimic what they're going to go through, like if they were to continue in college, more than medical. When they say I'm a medical student, first year, second year, I want to do this as a 9th grade. So they could start feeling it and owning that they are an engineering student. Some of them have asked, but I don't want to become an engineer. It's like, it's not that we're forcing you, it's we're showing you a process, starting early. So when they enter college, they at least know, this is what I want.
Yeah, wonderful. And that connecting, do you spend time with the other teachers setting that up? Or is that kind of a organic, authentic, I think I can make these connections?
It's a little bit of everything.
All right.
It's a little bit of everything.
Yeah, we do have collaborative time built into our PD schedule where teachers, this year especially, were asked to meet with their grade level teams and develop interdisciplinary project. So what Will's talking about was an outcome of that planning, and of course they put in their own time. In addition, it's never enough. It doesn't seem ever to be enough, especially if you want a really good interdisciplinary project. So, you know, you need to spend a little bit more time. For me, in my medical classes, I teach the 12th and 11th grade medical students. The biggest impact I've seen this year is when they have gotten to present their projects in front of community partners, and part of them like really doesn't like it, but another part gets really excited, and they have to put together really professional presentations. And the kind of feedback they receive from these outside individuals that are coming from maybe the LA Chamber or the Hollywood Neighborhood Council or even Children's Hospital, they come and they watch these presentations and they have a lot of interesting things to say, and it gives them an opportunity to realize the type of skills it would take to survive and succeed in the real world. And they often come up to me afterwards and saying, oh, I could have done that a lot better, or I really need to work on this particular skill. And it's really wonderful seeing that in my students, that kind of growth.
And also, not only do we collaborate with our engineering pathway, I also speak to Aster with the medical pathway. It's like, what are you doing? So I could kind of infuse that in engineering as well, because I'm trying to set that foundation of the presentation skills. We made a major push first semester with the art teacher in English, and they had to present 3 times. So after we finished, we debriefed, and they're looking forward to this semester of doing the same thing. I was like, but now you have to step it up. You went through it once. We want more quality. And we give them pointers with a rubric. This is where you were weak. This is where you were strong. And they're looking forward to it. Some still are a little bit hesitant to present. And I think Ms. Cabera was there when I had a couple of my ESL students presenting. I allowed them to write the script on a piece of paper. They read from the script, but their confidence level, I think, just shot up when they did it in front of all their peers. And no one laughed. They were able to present, and they were nervous afterwards, but I think they were just so happy to do it.
Confidence is a big deal.
A lot.
Confidence is a big deal. We talk about kids being college ready and career prepared, and so your pathways intersect with the academic skills. Would you say that works?
Yes. Yeah.
And how do you work on the academics when students are struggling, when we hear a lot that our 9th graders are not reading at 9th grade level, or the math skills are weak? How do you help support those students?
Well, we require a math tutorial class to go along so they have all ninth graders have 2 math classes. So we make sure that they get as much support as they need in math. And we have tutoring. Every teacher is required to spend 2 days a week, to 2.5 hours, excuse me, per week tutoring after school for their students or in the morning. So we, encourage students to take advantage of that. And also to support our students on another level, I have to say, we have gotten involved with so many career partners that have helped us that our students have experienced unique things. 2 months ago, I got a call from somebody in San Francisco regarding the Perry Initiative. And we sent about 15 of our girls to Children's Hospital, where female surgeons went out of their way to spend the day teaching them how to do surgery on prosthetic models. They sutured, they did many, many things. They had an incredible experience, and they shadowed female surgeons, so they develop a confidence in this field. We've had students do internships this last summer in engineering with engineering companies in downtown Los Angeles. We have had, we have an opportunity set up in May where our female engineering students, which there are not many of, are all going to Verizon, and Verizon engineers, female engineers, have taken them under their wing, and they're going to spend a day with them showing them what engineering is like. So we're constantly, matter of fact, when I visit middle school, I'm talking up engineering to the girls. The field is wide open for girls, and we are the place to be. We will teach you, we will show you, we will nurture you, we will make you feel comfortable, and then your pathway to college is very comfortable.
And you're already starting to do that with some of our middle schools, isn't that right? You
Yes.
talked about going to yoga.
I was at Yango Kim Academy yesterday, which is a STEM middle school. And we're very excited that we have Edward Colacion and myself are working to create a pathway for STEM all the way through the end of high school. So the parents have come to visit and they're ecstatic also, especially about the program and the robotics and things that you can't get in many other schools. So.
And you're a small school. How many students are on campus?
A little under 400.
Little under 400. I mean, in many ways, that's revolution in LAUSD, right?
Yes.
You've been at Bravo. There's 1,700 students. We've had 2,300, 4,000 kids on a campus. For a young person to have the experience of 500 students, and then you're helping me plan for 4 years, what impact do you think that makes for them?
Well, certainly in my, 8 years of teaching, this is the first time where I've known by name students that I don't have in my classes. And a lot of that comes through, this feeling of community, and the students then in return reflect that back to you and say, things like, I know you care, I know I can come to you if I need help, even though you're not technically my teacher, you are another adult and you play a very impacting role in my life. And that's something that I feel quite often with our student population.
I definitely feel the same way that Esther feels, because I did mention about the ESL students. We have an inclusive model for our special ed population that they're embedded into our regular classes. They're supported by either their teacher or their teaching assistant. So it's not like, oh, you're special ed, you're just in this class. Everyone's included. And if I have an issue with a student that was from Esther's advisory or whatever class, I usually will talk to them first and then go to Esther's, like, what happened with Joe? What can we do to help? Or vice versa. And we all go around helping each other.
We also have an incredible counselor.
Yes.
Dr. Carolyn Kavner is a very qualified licensed PhD, and the kids just go to her. She's very open, very easy to talk to. So I really feel the reason why our kids are so successful is because they're happy, they feel cared for, and there's a lot of nurturing going on, a lot of nurturing.
I mean, even inclusive, our head secretary will counsel our kids. And she's overwhelmed with a lot of things.
And
because
she's
it's only
a Bravo graduate too.
Exactly.
So you're recruiting LAUSD grads is one of the strategies.
We're bringing more Bravo grads on this end, make it happen. But it's a family. I mean, we know what happens. We address them. We talk to the kids talk to us. I was out for a week, and the kids came in. Kids that I haven't taught at all. They're seniors, like, oh, we're glad you're back. And they're like, what happened? I told them, well, my girlfriend just had a baby, and that's why I was out there, like, congratulations. All these kids coming in through my door.
Sounds like a lot of community and trust, right, for those young people. How do you feel that the external community has embraced this new pilot linked learning amazing school?
Well, I have to say, I go in her classroom one day and she had 5 community members sitting there observing her demonstrations, her student projects, and scoring them and rating, and it was just, it's wonderful. They come and they visit. I think that they've really embraced it. We're only there a year and a half, but I see it getting even better in the future.
In terms of our immediate community, I think there's still, it's a little questionable as to like who we are and why are we there. A lot of being on a larger campus with 2 other schools, it can be confusing to a lot of students and parents. They're not aware sometimes that we're here. But as we reach out more and we regularly send our students to other schools, in fact, that's part of my curriculum. They have to prepare a very specific project and go to LeConte because I still have a lot of connections over there.
Tell her what they were doing at LeConte.
LeConte Middle School.
Yeah. Yes. Well, one of the projects I implement every year is my students have to conduct a DNA extraction from a fruit or vegetable of their choice, and they have to lead up to this demonstration, and the lead up involves understanding how things occur and why, and trying it over and over so they can maximize the result. And then they do it in front of me and their classmates, and then whoever does it the best gets to go over to LeConte to the 8th grade classroom, science classrooms, and show it to those kids. Wow. And it's a really good experience for them, but it's also a really good way to introduce the fact that we have this kind of a program to the 8th graders.
Yes, and so you're part of this whole conversation. People are getting reacquainted with LAUSD. We are not a one-size-fits-all, one strategy for every community. Correct. Really, through our new school program and through teacher leadership, we're creating. I mean, this is what reform looks like. How do you engage with other people who want to learn about what you're doing, other professionals, other teachers, principals who kind of are looking for ways that they can enrich their school? How does that interaction happen?
Well, we get together once a month in principals meetings, and there's a networking time, and we do share quite a bit. I've been in local district for probably close to 10 years, so we've all kind of grown up together in the administrative area, and we share and help, and we call when we don't know, and it's been quite helpful.
In terms
some
of
people come visit?
Yeah, in terms of our curriculum, we're part of NAF, and we're part of that's the National Academy Foundation, and we also implement Project Lead the Way curriculum.
Academy of Engineering.
Yeah. And so because we're found in this sort of directory of schools that are implementing these pathways, other schools who are exploring those things can contact us, and we have two visits. Westchester High, as you know, reconstituted and broke into magnets, and they came to observe our program. And then we also had an observation from Venice High, because I believe they're also starting a magnet in the STEM area. Yeah. So we're out there as the model program, from what I can tell, because everybody seems to want to check it out. And parents are coming. We've had an open house that was very successful for our 8th grade parents. And they come knock on the door and say, can we see your program? And when I bring them into the classrooms, they're blown away. And they say, where do I sign? Wow. So we're hoping that our enrollment goes up in September. Again, we're new and we're just learning to walk and stand, and we're hoping to run next year.
All right, all right.
And then for the 2 of us, we've joined the Impact Program through UCLA, where we're helping student teachers come up. So I have a student teacher for math.
And I have one for science. And I think it's really exciting because they get to see not only, what it's like to be a teacher, but what it's like to work in a pilot school and what it's like to watch all these career pathway courses. So they're getting exposed to a lot of different things all at once. I just hope they're not overwhelmed.
They're actually top-notch, high quality.
Yeah, they're really great. Well, we had to apply and go through an interview and a lesson observation to get these things.
And that's another networking piece, because most of the teachers that are in this Impact Program are from local District 5 as well. So we have we meet once a month, talk about our student teachers, but we're also talking about what's going on at your school, and we get to share. And of course, we take this outside, and I'll talk to some of my buddies that are teaching at a regular comprehensive school, it's like, you know what, you should try the pilot school model. Because most of them are afraid. Because they was like, what do you mean a thin contract? It's like, don't worry about that piece.
Wow.
You know, it's more what you make of it with who you work, with your principal and everyone else that works there that makes the school function.
Yes, and 69% of our teachers voted to lift the caps on pilots. So everyone who wants to be a pilot, work at it, bring your group together and lead. We need you. Tell me about, do you see more attendance? Do you see kids staying in the school where you in the past maybe saw greater transiency? Talk about it.
We lose very few students. The students we've lost this year is because they've moved away. And I have to say, we have a very high graduation rate. I think last year it was 85% graduation rate, and I think it was 80-something% went to college. So we are, I believe that's success, because students need, we're very community, we have no busing, they're all our local kids. They feel a sense of empowerment, I think, by the program and the teachers, and it's almost as if, where are you going to go to college, not if you're going to go to college. Yes. And that's the culture we're instilling in these kids.
Yeah. Wonderful, wonderful. So I heard personalization, I heard trust, I heard community, I heard collaboration, I heard take risks. Don't worry about that. What does that mean? And I heard a lot of role modeling. Your role models of successful students, LAUSD graduates who made it, your successful educators, right? You're modeling for other people about what this LA could be. It's so wonderful to hear about STEM Academy at Bernstein. Good for you, good for you. What would you say if you wanted people to know one thing about it as we wrap up? What should people know?
What's about the pilot schools about STEM is that if you want change, step up and go for it.
If you want change, step up and go for it. Let's close there. Thank you. Thank you for what you do every day. Thank you for being on the show. And thank you for joining me today. If you want to learn more about the reform efforts taking place at LAUSD or to contact me, visit lausd.net. As we continue to reform our schools in order to create the best educational opportunities for our students, it requires all of us to do our part. I'm Mónica García. Together we will reform education, achieve 100% graduation, and make LAUSD the best school district in the nation.